bit of a different video for you today. We're going to have a look at a wallet refurb. So I'm Simon and welcome to Oakside Saddlery. So I've got a wallet being sent to me, just for a bit of a refurb. We can see the threads and stitches will come out, but it's quite a nice wallet. I can see there's some sort of logo imprinted on there, some nice buckles, whatever they're called, pop rivets. Well, so that bit's broke there by the looks of it. I can see a bit of glue, so that needs redoing. Probably a replacement one with that. And then what have we got on here? So there's a nice logo. Poppers that still work, which is a good sign. So we're going to need some stitching there. There we are, got a name in there. So Lee River. Oh, Island. Is there something Island? Not sure what the rest of it says, but I'll have to look them up, see if they still work, still around. Quite a nice bit of leather. That pouch is all alright. What else we got? Yeah, not a bad little wallet. So quite a tidy one. So what we need to do is start to figure out how it comes apart, how I can cut it out. I'm not going to be able to take it all apart because them rivets go right through that. And what have I got rivets in my head for? Those poppers go right through there. So what I'll have to do is cut the stitching out around this and then leave it all in place and restitch it. Quite handy because that means it will line up easy enough because I can start my stitching here and work it round when I redo it. So let's have a look at the first bit then. We need to figure out how to get that off. It's probably been off before looking at the squash on it, but we'll see. Anyway, new video for me, new little format, see what happens, and I'll see if I can keep it in this camera somewhere to start with. So first up then, let's get this off. We'll probably have to just put a pair of pliers on there. Wait one. So a little light pair of pliers. Just have a little twist on this. Get hold without getting anything else. Little twist. So another little bit of a little twist. Oh, it's got a metal ring in there as well. I'm not going to get that out either. So that's that off. I can sort that bit out later. Now let's have a look at this. So we've got some stitching. It's going to be machine stitched. By the looks of it, if it's like that. But I'll be hand stitching it on. This is 2 single layers. That's not wrapped around, I think. So we'll cut it apart, get it apart, give it a good clean, see what we can get off. So let's get some tools and things onto that. Try not to get my head into place either, because I'm going to be concentrating when I look at this sometimes. Little saddler's knife. It's quite blunt, that one. It's could do with a sharpen, but it'd be perfect for this because it shouldn't do too much in the way of cutting anything. So this leather's quite thin in places. So all I'm doing is going down in between the 2 layers there where it's open. Just finding that gap. I'm not cutting any leather. I'm trying not to cut any leather. Just finding the stitching. I'm going to cut that through. A little bit there. And when they're a bit blunt, it's ideal for things like this because it won't just cut through without me realising what it's going to do. I'm not really putting much in the way of effort behind it. I'm just finding that stitch and getting a little peel across on it, so cut it out and it goes. We need to keep that in place. It is. So I've got all that out of there. This idea is going to come around into that, and I don't really want that to come apart because that might pop through there, so I might stop short of that. I feel it's dirty because I can feel some dirt on my hands already. Chap has this, does a lot of metal work, and this is his works wallet. So it obviously gets put in a bit of abuse. So it's done well. there. Look, what's that? Is that of importance in there? Didn't leave me any money in there anyway. Alright, we're going to finish cutting this through. Best we can get. Some of the threads are quite tough. Okay. This is the inner fold, isn't it? That's why these are better. Not had the wear like the outers have. Where have we got to? That there. This bit here is still done, so I think I'm going to go up to about there somewhere. Don't want to go much further than that. So we've got the bulk of this apart now. Machine stitching compared to hand stitching. If it's hand stitched, I'd have to pick every single one of these stitches out. If it's machine, I can often find a bit. If you look at that, see where it's just putting through right the way through to the end of it there. That's the bit I don't want. Cut that off of there. Again, that piece there, and then that's a break. So that was all machine. It makes it a lot easier for me, even though it's not really a problem. It's just a lot quicker, as we'll see when I come to stitch this. And you can see there where the stitch is actually within this piece and not that bit. Actually, it would have been in there because that's the open end, isn't it? Remember that when I actually come to stitch it, because it'd be stitching there rather than there. So that's the same, that's the same. Let's get these bits out. Right, let's figure this one out here. So there's going to be a bit here somewhere. There it is. And they made this as well, they haven't glued it or anything, so that's pretty good going. Look, it ain't sharp, isn't it? I'd have cut myself then. Right, let's have a look then. So there's a bit there. So what I want to do is get out all traces of the old stitching. And you need to get that so that when you put the new fresh stitches through, there ain't nothing in the holes to come out. So it's one of these things, pain in the bum to do, can take ages, especially when you get ones like there where it's through into the leather but not really sticking out the other end. And this side here, hopefully we can get something on that. There it is. It's up to the end. I'll have a little bit here somewhere, there's another bit. That's cool. Odd ones like this, you need to get careful catch it with the end of an awl or something, a round awl, and then hope for the best. So this is another piece that's going to be, that's stitched all the way through, so this has got nothing to cut because that's a single piece of leather, so that's just like a bit of show stitching, so it runs through both sides here. So what I need to find is a bit that's going to be free, near the end somewhere. There we go. Another piece, and just work my way along, and each time I do it I'm gradually pulling out that thread. Now sometimes on odd things, if I've got a bit of thread that's a bit special, I might have to do this deliberately, pick it out so I can reuse the thread to restitch, whereas this I'm not. I'm just going to restitch it with something, a normal thread, another thread. And then what we get on the other side, now that thread's all out, we should be able to find one end of it, there it is, and we can just peel it out. Got all that to there, we'll have a look at that bit in a minute. That goes up here. Need to cut down this piece here so we can free that. That's another piece we need to look at. And this again is quite thin. So when I get that first go on it, I need to get this without catching too much else. There it is. And because we've picked down a bit, it should be a bit easier. One of the biggest things with all this work is figuring out ways to pin something down so that you can move it when you want. So I've got my hand resting on here, pulling this way so it's up loose, going across at the same time. And then that's where that rivet is. So I'm not going to go any further than that, leave it on there. Looks like marks where a card was or something. This pocket looks pretty good, to be honest. The stitching on that is not worn at all. So although I've cut the bottom part, I can re-stitch that. I'm going to leave them two pieces. Alright, let's finish the last of this. There. Get rid of that. Pick these bits away. Pick this bit away. Off. there. Now we've got a little piece across here. There it is. Right, that's it. Cut this off. Not the phase. Cut this piece out. Oh, this bit is over here. Unusual for me. I've got a little bit of nail today. Normally I haven't got any nail and I can't grab hold of these. Last little few bits. There. And so when you think you've got the last part, you'll have a look and spot another one. There's one there. And if you can't see them on one side, you tend to turn it over and then you can just see sometimes where the bit sticks through. It's not necessarily the way it's got to come out. But if you're going to do it, you might as well do it properly, and doing these things are the long-winded part of a refurbishment. So people think, oh, that don't take long, but it actually does. It takes longer to do it than would have done to just stick one in the first place. I don't know if you can hear the wind today, the weather's really turned. The last few days it's been really nice, bright sunshine. Today it ain't stopped raining, although I can't moan because my fields need it. Hay's going to need it, otherwise they'll be going, oh, it's really expensive again, so no doubt they'll be charging us a lot more again. Down there, that. We're just about there. Right, let's stick this tight in a minute, move it over there so I don't have the top in. So that's all the thread that's been cut off of it, and you can start to see as well, see the dirt that started to come out. So we need to clean this up. Let's get rid of that. Now, so it's not going to come completely apart, purely for the fact these rivets are in there. Why do I keep calling rivets? These studs are in there, and I'm not going to pull them apart because they're marked. They're decent for a change. Actually quite decent ones, that. But I will give it a clean over. So let's have a nose, see what I can find to clean it with. Right, I've got a little bit left. A leather cleaner from Leather Repair Company. I quite like their stuff, they do some good stuff. Whether it's the right one for this is another thing, but it's what I'm going to use today. And I've just spotted another bit of thread that I missed. That's there, look. So quite nice. So leather repair company stuff, I do like that. It does work well. But we're going to give it a bit of a spray on one side. Then we've got a little brush that they use, and then we just give it a bit of a rub in. Don't go too hard with it, nothing like that. The little brush tends to work better than a cloth and things because it gets into around all these edges. And the thing with wallets is they're different lengths of leather, so you probably notice in there that to be able to fold how it does, that piece of leather is going to be bigger than this piece. So when I lay it flat, see where the ends stick out? That's just something you have to deal with. And then all we're going to do, give it a bit of a wipe. And we can start to see, even though this isn't the cleanest of cloths, it's one of the dry patch, is a fairly clean patch, we can start to see all the crumb that's going to come up with it. So that's just that one little piece. I don't know why I cleaned with this last time, but it must have been rotten. I could get a fresh one out. It'll do. It'll do. There's a fine line with refurbishments, because do you want it to look like new, or do you need it to just be repaired? And that's sometimes what people come up with, especially when it's old things. I've had like old gun cases, and I had a sword case, an old antique sword case, and it's like, do you need it to work, or do you need it to look the part still? Because when it's got to work, sometimes I have to cut a lot more out than what I would do normally. Whereas if you want it to just look the part, I can sort of repair things and refurbish stuff so that actual fact is will look the part, will look good, but won't necessarily be original. Alright, that side's done. Let's see what we can get with the outer edge. I'll bring his logo up there. It's like a nice Irish, what do you call it, twisty thing. I've forgotten what they're called. I'm sure I can put a comment on it somewhere. The Irish knot. Irish knot. A bit of thread, see? Always spot old ones. Yeah, I'm going to have to have a look, Ruth. So I didn't want to cut that out. It's quite a knot there. As you can see at that. It's the big knot that's on that corner. So I might end up having to do that out. It's probably where they started and finished from. Might have a little lighter on it maybe. It depends what thread it is. See, it's starting to burn, so it's a nylon type of thread. I'll stink that one. I'm not using that thread. I've got a bit of a go around there, bit around there, that's tidied up. Under there's tidied up. They won't see any of this. Don't need to really do much in there, although I am going to give that a go. These sides cop all the abuse really. That's where your money's going. keeping the bench nice and clean anyway. At these edges as well, there's a couple of little bits that stick out. See where this is a little bit taller? It's part of the design. Right, feels better. Now, with these sort of things, then really what you need to do is just let that dry a little bit, and then as it dries, it sort of makes it easier for you to fiddle with and deal with. But I can feel there's no real dirt and dust over it now. Put those in there, see what that's like. Right, so we've got that main bit done for what we want to do. It's quite tidy, this leather, it's quite soft and supple, so we don't really need to do much with it in that case. But what our aim is now is all the bits of muck and dirt and everything else we got off, we need to keep it off. Now I can give this a bit more of a clean up. So what we're going to get this time is we're going to go a bit harsher. So previously I was all quite soft because I want to see what's there. This time I'm going to start to go for a bit of a clean, scrub into them holes as well. So now we've got something that's starting to come back like a proper what it would be when you first got it. See the leather coming through there now? Looking much better. Do the same on this side. You don't want to go harsh in the first place, because otherwise what you're doing is pushing any dirt and muck on it, and then you're scratching the leather with it. Whereas now I know I've got that off, this is where I don't need to wash them up. Probably shaking the camera here while I'm doing it. There. Right. So that is our main bit there done. So I'll put that away. So again, there it is. Bit of leather cleaner. I think I'm the right way round. I'll have to fiddle around with the video to get that. So now, to restitch it then, where we'll be starting is in this edge here. I'm going to start down this side. We've got two bits there, remember, because that is the open side. So I'm going to start round here. I'm going to stitch this, work my way around, all the way around here. This part here is going to be the whole lot, all the way through until I come up to there. That's going to be probably 2 or 3 runs of stitching, depending on how long my arms are and what we're going to do. So we'll have a look at some of this and what we're going to use. So my normal thread that I use is this one. But that thread is going to be a bit too thick for that. If it was my own one, I'd be using bigger stitching and everything else on it because it makes it through. That's my design. This is a bit finer, so we've got a different type of thread. So same sort, but it's a little bit finer. I don't really use these very often. I normally spare my time swearing because it takes me longer to thread a needle with this. And I'm also going to use